All right, Kay.
Yeah.
Kay, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I grew up in South Carolina. I was born in Arizona. I left when I was 20 months, and I was in South Carolina until I turned 21. Moved to Arizona, and then 22 through 26 in Cali.
How would you describe your childhood? You had both mom and dad?
I had my mom. My dad was in and out of the picture. He was in prison or jail a lot. Childhood was all right. I mean, I got into a lot of trouble. My mom didn't want a troublemaker. She was always wanting me to do good, but I was just hard-headed, didn't like to listen, and like to do whatever I was told not to do. It was more fun that way.
You make it through high school?
No, I got expelled permanently halfway through my 9th grade year. Yeah, that was a very interesting time. A friend of mine said that I was saying something that I had said in the past, but he said that I was saying it again, and because of that, I got expelled.
What was it you were saying?
I had threatened to shoot a teacher in the face with a double-barreled sawed-off shotgun because I was a child and she pissed me off. And the first time I did it, they told me that I couldn't bring a backpack back to school and that I had to be monitored by the SRO all the time. And then the only reason they didn't arrest me was because I didn't have the gun and because they said I was emotionally disturbed. I didn't know how to properly display my emotions. And then I guess a friend thought that I was saying it again and went and snitched on me, and they permanently expelled me from there. I wasn't allowed back on any Greenville County school property without reporting straight to the SRO. Otherwise, I'd be arrested on the spot.
So where'd you go? Where'd your life go after that?
After that, my mom pretty much told me, if you're under my roof, you're going to work or you're going to school. So I went to a metal fabrication shop working with my stepdad when I was 16. And then after that, I went to military school in a quasi-military program and lived on base for 5.5 months. Yeah, that was fun.
How was military school?
Well, to say the least, I got strong because I'm hard-headed and I don't like to listen. And instead of getting kicked out of class and going to see the principal, whenever you do something wrong, you got to go outside and do whatever exercise the sergeant gives you until they get tired of looking at you. So I was hard-headed. I ended up doing a lot of push-ups. But it was sucked at the time, but it was fun looking back at it. I wish I could go back.
Did it smooth out some of your rough edges?
No, it made it worse. I got into a fight like the day before I was supposed to fucking graduate the program. I ended up getting into a fight right in the middle of formation. It took like 3 sergeants to get me off of them. That was fun.
What is it about your makeup, your personality that makes you so... Is it defiant? Is that the word? What are you? How would you describe it?
Growing up, I was told by a therapist that I have ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder, meaning that mentally, if you tell me not to do something, like don't go and jump on the bed, you'll break your leg. Even if I know I'm not gonna break, even if I know I'm gonna break my leg, even if I know it's a bad idea, you told me not to, so now I feel like I'm inclined to want to do it more. And it was hard growing up, but I've learned to deal with it a little bit. It's still stubborn, but it helps being 26 because now I'm on my own. It's like nobody can tell me what to do. Like that's the reason I have a hard time in shelters and stuff like that because they keep putting rules and stipulations and this and that. Like right now, I'm not allowed to have more than 1 bike where I'm at, and like that's a problem. Or I can't smoke where I'm at, so I put a fucking plastic bag and a rubber band around the smoke detector and just sit in my room and smoke because they told me I couldn't.
Like, you got housing now?
Well, no, I got the temporary housing. It's like, I don't know if you've heard of them, the tiny home villages.
Mm-hmm, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I'm in one of those. So I got my own little tiny room, luckily, for now anyway. I'm working on getting my housing. I got my voucher and all, but they just keep hitting me with the push-off. Like, they keep telling me I'm waiting on my fucking voucher to be cleared. Voucher to be cleared. Okay, well, why the fuck can't I hear anything? I've heard...
You were on the streets before that?
Yeah, I've been on the streets since I was 21. I left South Carolina because of a warrant. Well, not a warrant. Investigator came and asked me if he asked me to come turn myself in, would I, and hit me with a search warrant. And I didn't realize that the search warrant was bogus because it was supposed to have a name signature where the judge's name was, and instead it said bond court judge, word for word. So I asked my dad at the time, I was like, hey, you remember all the times you said that you would buy me a ticket anywhere in the U.S. as long as it would get me out of your hair and I'd leave you alone? He's like, yeah. I was all, if I ask you to buy me a ticket to Arizona, will you tell the police where I went? And he told me, write a note that says, you want me gone? Fine, I'm gone. And he said that I was already telling the police that I was filing eviction papers on me. So he said, when they come and ask for you, I'll just go in the house, date it for a couple days before, come out, hand it to him and say, here, this was on the counter when I got home. I went to live with my sister for about a month when I got to Arizona until I got kicked out for drinking and choking out her stepson. Well, not her stepson, her actual son, like 3-4 times. And that's when I got on the street. She actually lied to me about that situation because I lost my job and I was waiting on my last check to come in the mail. So I knew that she was kicking me out, and I asked her, well, I know you're going to kick me out. If you can wait until I get my check in the mail, that'd be awesome, and I'll leave on my own. That way I can at least get a hotel room. I don't have to start on the street. And she's all, yeah, no problem. I think your mom's coming to get you in the morning to come spend the weekend with her. So I'm like, cool. I pack a bag for the weekend, thinking I'm just going with my mom for the weekend. My mom pops up the next morning, and she's like, is that all you got? I'm all, what do you mean? I'm just coming to spend the weekend with you. She said, no, your sister's kicking you out. She didn't tell you because she was afraid of your reaction. So from there, I ended up packing all my bags and leaving to a homeless shelter from there. And I met my brother there, but unfortunately, my brother's in a wheelchair now, and I can't really hang out with him because he's at a hospital somewhere in downtown. That situation sucked. He had gotten 2 spinal cord abscesses, which according to Google, they only get 2 cases of those out of about every 10,000 hospital admissions. And now he can't really feel or use anything from the solar plex down, and he can't control his bladder. And he's been in a wheelchair for a little bit over a year now. He can like move his legs or transfer himself from the chair to the bed, but that's about it. And it's just hard on us right now because we're trying to get him to finish the situation he's in, and hopefully he heals. But it's just hard because I've been on the street within shouting distance of my brother for like 4 years, and it's different being on my own, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not used to it, and it's just hard without him, but I manage, you know what I mean? It's a little bit harder and a little bit easier at the same time.
Tell me about drug use.
Drug use, I started as a kid because I was on Adderall when I was a kid, and then from there, I graduated to stop doing my Adderall, and I started taking Xanax, Klonopin, Lortabs, other pills, stuff like that. Then I started smoking weed. There's one time I actually fucking crushed up a Lortab, which is a pain pill. I put it inside of a blunt and rolled it up and then drenched the outside of the blunt in liquid codeine syrup and sat there and smoked that shit with my homies. We were in the car, faded. Then I started drinking codeine syrup, shit like that. Started drinking a couple times, but I don't really like liquor because I get stomach hangovers instead of head, which is basically feels like I got poison sitting on top of my stomach for the whole next day, and it just makes me sick as hell. So that kind of ruined that for me. But from there, I started doing fucking cocaine. And from cocaine, I tried doing LSD, shrooms. I've done ketamine. I've done research chemical. Honestly, I love acid. I really wish I knew where to find some right now, but I pretty much don't know where. I've done crystal. I don't really consider weed a drug. I've never done heroin, fentanyl. I don't want to at all. I'm not so much into pills anymore since I woke up in jail 2 days after my birthday from a Xanax and didn't remember, still to this day, don't remember 8 hours of my life missing. And there's days and weeks out of my memory that's just gapped because of Xanax, and I stopped doing that. But after I started doing that, I started doing crystal, and it kind of got worse. And now crystal's like an everyday thing. I gotta have it, but I don't really consider myself an addict. I consider myself a functioning user, you know what I mean? Because like, it sucks if I don't have it because I feel like I don't have any energy. Like, even if I want to do something, I can't get up and go do it because I don't have any energy. So it's kind of gotten to the point where it's an everyday thing. I got to have it to fucking get going to do my thing. But it's also currency. It's one way I make money. One of many, you know.
How do you make money now?
All kinds of different ways. I mean, I know how to take electricity from the city's light poles and wire it to like a surge protector. And that way you got power in your tent. Or I know how to work on bikes or sell bikes or steal bikes or trade bikes. I've sold drugs. I've robbed people. I mean, really and truly, if you can think of it, I've probably done it. Like this situation, for example, if people ask me, do I know how to do this? Like, no, but I can figure it out. Like, first time I ever had anything to do with mechanics, my homeboy came to me and asked me if I knew how to fix a starter in his Ford F-150. I told him I'd never done it before, but I was willing to try. I watched a video on YouTube, and then I sat there and I did it. Like pretty much if I can figure out how to do it, I'm gonna do it. But I prefer to work with my hands and build stuff, shit like that. But easy money too, like selling stuff. If I got it, I'll sell it. I just sold an iPod, or not an iPod, a tablet that I found in the trash. I just sold a piano, well, not a piano, a keyboard for $100 that I found on the side of the road. I stole a bike off of somebody's front porch in fucking Santa Monica like a week ago and sold that for $50. Whatever I can get my hands on, really. I mean, if I can figure it out, I mean, might as well make the money. I'm down for whatever, as long as it's within reason.
Mm-hmm. Do you have friends?
Yeah, I got a lot of friends. Well, nah, I don't really consider them friends. I got family and I got associates and I got enemies. These guys, I don't really, I mean, I know her a little bit, you know, she's a friend of the family and whatnot. So I've known her for a little while, but not that much. I got people that I hang out with on a daily basis, and I got people that I consider my brother, and like there's nothing I won't do for them. Like they call me right now and tell me we need to go spray somebody up, then we finna go spray somebody up. Ain't no questions. They just know at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, if I find out that they were the reason that we had to do that and they were in the wrong, then I want my round with them. But I got your back until then, you know what I mean? Like if it's 12-on-2, then shit, let's get it. Let's beat their ass. But if I find out at the end that after we get done whooping their ass or they get done whooping our ass, if I find out you the reason that this all started, then you gonna have to deal with me afterwards. But, you know, that's just how I work. But I try not to fight that much because I have the mentality of if I fight you and I actually put my all into it and I lose, now I feel like I'm obligated to fight you and take flight on you every time I see you until I win. And if I have that mentality, then I have the feeling that why wouldn't you have that mentality? And I don't got time for that. I'd be way too high, way too much, or coming down sometimes, and I ain't got time for that much drama and shit like that. And so, like, I'm small. Like, I'm not finna try and fight you. I'm finna pick something up, and I'm finna hit you until you stop fucking moving. And that's just gonna be that at the end of the day. Friends, I mean, I got family. I consider them family, street family. I guess they started off as friends, but I got a couple people that I associate with, but I don't really consider them a friend because, in my opinion, LA is a very bad place, and it can be but it'll swallow you up whole if you let it. I started off in Venice, and Venice Beach got worse. I ended up leaving Venice Beach about a year ago, around a couple days after Valentine's Day. I woke up one night to some OG Crip hitting me in the mouth and standing over me with a machete to my throat. Stole everything I own, including my violin, dropped my bike on my head like 3 times and then disappeared, and I ran and fucking got the fuck out of Venice. My brother was supposed to be out here, so I hopped on a bus and came out here and found out he was in a hospital, and I've just been trying to fucking make it on my own since. Every day's a new day, every day's a new struggle. I just try to move forward and never look back. Every day starts something new, you know what I mean? Like, if I can, but I got the mentality of, one thing I've always said to myself growing up is never accept defeat, let alone acknowledge what it means. So, meaning that it doesn't matter how bad you beat me down, or it doesn't matter how hard the job is, or it doesn't matter how difficult the task is. If I can move, I can crawl. If I can crawl, I can walk. If I can walk, I can run. In other words, as long as I'm breathing, there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing what the fuck I want to do. If I really want to do it, I'm going to do it. Period. You know, and that's just kind of mentality you have to have on the streets, because at the end of the day, on the streets, I've come to learn that you can never really rely on what somebody else says. So like, say, for example, let's just say you say you're going to pay me, and I can't count that money in my pocket until that money is in my hand, because you can never count on somebody else for something you can do for yourself, because you never know what might happen, what might come up, what the situation might be. And at the end of the day, I know if nobody else has my back, I got my back. So I'm going to make sure I eat. I know I got a drug habit, so I know I'm going to make sure I got what I need to support that habit. I know I smoke cigarettes. I got to have money to get cigarettes, or a way to get cigarettes. I know I got to make sure I eat every day. I know I got to make, if nothing else, I know me, and I know I'm the only one that's going to support my drugs. I know I'm the only one that's going to support my cigarettes. I know I'm the only one that's going to buy me food. And I got to make sure I do that. So I try to be on the grind every day and make as much. I try to make at least $10 every day. It doesn't always work, but it's just a goal. You know what I mean? Sometimes you make more, sometimes you make less, sometimes you don't make any. But as long as you have that goal in mind, I feel like there's always a way to make money. You just got to find it.
do you think your personality is just not suited to things like conforming to things like school or a 9-to-5 job?
Honestly, I've always thought, and I've been told that I'm very smart, but I like working with my hands. I've been in physical labor since I was 16, metal fabrication shop. Came out of military school, started my own pressure washing company, started my own landscaping company, going door to door, cutting grass and shit like that, washing cars. But like out of everything I've done, like I just don't see myself sitting behind a desk or a counter all day, every day, because I got severe ADHD. Like I can't sit still that long for 8 hours to be able to do that. Like it's just not gonna happen. It's not who I am. But if you find me something that I find interesting, then you're damn right I'm gonna do it. And what I find interesting is something I'm good at, which is working with my hands. You know, I'm good at other stuff, but some technology stuff, I'm good at the basics, but technology is getting more and more advanced and it escapes even me. And I don't really want to go back to school because I don't really have the attention span for it. And that's difficult. Originally I wanted to go into the military, but that didn't work out the way I planned it. And now a lot of times it's actually kind of difficult because I lost the tip of my thumb. I had an abscess and got worse, and by the time I went to the hospital, it became a deep space infection, meaning that they had to do surgery in order to drain it rather than a lance and drain. I had an incision here with 2 stitches, and it never properly healed. I didn't take the antibiotics. I didn't take care of it the way it was supposed to. So for a while, the bone was sticking out with like a big ass scab over top of it. I remember when the thumbnail fell off. Hell, I remember when I was working on bikes with the bone was literally sticking out of the tip of my thumb and it was nothing but bone. And I was working on bikes. Like, that's one of the most painful things I've ever felt is tinking my fucking bone on a bike. And then one day I wiped out on my bike and it snapped off. And it saved me a trip to the hospital, actually, because if I had gone at that point, it was pretty much all healed except for where the bone was sticking out. And there was no way I was going to get any more flesh to go around that bone. So it was either I go to the hospital and they saw off the bone right there at the beginning of the flesh so it can heal over it, or it snapped off, which it did, and it healed over, and that's as much of my thumb as I'll ever get back. So it's kind of hard to do like small little intricate things. Like I have a hard time rolling blunts and joints and shit, but you learn to cope with it. You learn to find a different way to do things, but for the most part, I can't do like little small things, like working on things that are real small. I can't do it. Like it's just, I can't do it. I can't even fucking grab a cigarette out of my pack with this hand. It's just too difficult.
Would you describe yourself as self-destructive?
2 words that I would use to describe myself: self-destructive and clumsy. I wouldn't necessarily say clumsy, but like savage and flawed, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care what the deed is. I'm going to go savage with it. I'm going to go 100% or I'm not going to go at all. And I'm flawed because I feel like I got a fucked up sense of humor. And at the same time, I got a kind of a fucked up personality. Like, things that most people find fucked up, I find hilarious. And things that people find hilarious, I'm just sitting here like, really? That's stupid. I kind of have a dark mentality. Like, I got a lot of things. Like, unfortunately, my life was kind of hell when I was 18. I had a daughter. And, well, unfortunately, my house got shot up and it hit a gas line. I made it out. My baby mama just barely made it out. But for some reason, she didn't grab our daughter and my house exploded because of that gas line. And I've become fucked up mentality-wise since then because I don't feel like anybody should have to really and truly bury their child, let alone like me have nothing left to bury of your child. For about a year, I wouldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't say shit. But after that, I think about suicide every day, but the only thing that really stops me is 2 things. One is I love to piss people off, and at the end of the day, I didn't put myself here. It's going to let my haters win if I fucking take myself out. So if I didn't put myself here, why am I going to take myself out? If it's going to fucking piss my haters off to be here, then I might as well be here rather than let them win and take myself out. Plus, honestly, I don't think that's what my daughter would have wanted for me. She would have wanted me to fucking, continue with my life and try and move forward. So I just keep her in my heart and in my memories and just try to move forward every day. It's hard, but you do what you got to do. You know, everybody's got a story, everybody's got baggage, and some is worse than others. And at the end of the day, like, I just haven't been the same since that happened. You know, like, fucked up shit I think about all the time, and fucked up shit is usually what helps me. But at the same time, like, I have no remorse. Like, I have a conscience, but I have no remorse. So my conscience tells me that I don't really want to fight this dude, but my no remorse tells me that when I start fighting, okay, I don't give a fuck about you. As far as I'm concerned, in my mind, you're trying to kill me, because I don't know what you're going to do if I get knocked out or I hit the ground. You might stomp me out. You might beat me down. Like, so if I'm thinking you're trying to kill me, I'm going to take that personally, and I'm going to take that to heart. I'm going to pick up something and I'm going to continuously beat you with it until I'm satisfied or you just stop moving. And that's why I feel like I'm fucked up, because, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if it's not my family, then it's fuck them. Like, I ain't got time for them. Stay the fuck out of my way. And this is how I've always been. Like, I don't care if you're in my way. I will move you. You can move on your own, or I promise you, your mama gonna wear a black dress before mine do. Cause you're not finna make my mama cry. Like, shit, my parents didn't even know about my child. And before I had the opportunity to tell them, that happened. So life's too short to sit here and worry about the little things. Life's too short to worry about anything. I'm just trying to get high and enjoy my time here while I can. If you try to stop me from that, then you need to get the fuck out of the way, because, like, I'm trying to end this shit quick. I'm not trying to drag it on and start beef and have a rivalry. No, I'm trying to fucking get you the fuck out of my way, get you the fuck out of my face, so I can continue to get high and enjoy my time. I'm not trying to start no beef. I just want to feel free and do my own thing. And people got a problem with that, then just fuck them.
What are you afraid of now in your life?
Spiders, honestly. It sounds crazy, but spiders freak me out. I will literally run from them. I used to live in a tunnel, and, like, it's not that I'm afraid of the dark per se. It's like how do I describe it? My mind plays tricks on me. So when I'm in the dark, I swear I hear things. Or if I can't see, I think like somebody's coming. It's not that I'm afraid of the dark. It's afraid of what might be in the dark. Like, when I lived under a bridge in a tunnel, I was thinking every night that some freaking maniac might come through on fucking high as shit out of their mind on Sherm. Oh yeah, that was fun. I've done Sherm too. But might come out of their high as hell out of their mind and fucking on a murdering spree and just try to kill me. But also, I'm a juggalo, which is a follower of ICP. Anybody that listens to ICP is a juggalo. And, you know, like, at the end of the day, I got family no matter what, because I'll always have juggalo family. But things that I'm scared of, I refuse to be scared of any one person, because if you bleed the same as me, then what do I got to be scared of if you can bleed just as easy as I can? I'm not really scared of a gun, because I welcome death. I embrace it. It's the one thing that everybody is guaranteed from the day they are born. No matter what you do, no matter what you accomplish, you're going to die one day. It's the only thing you have to do. But spiders, I don't know. I've never seen black widows until I got to Van Nuys, California. And now every time I see one, it's bigger than the last one. The last one I seen was about the size of a 50-cent piece without its legs. Its hourglass was like the size of a quarter. And that's a big enough spider to where I promise you, if I saw that in my tent, I would literally grab my bag, my phone. No, I wouldn't even grab my bag. I'd grab my phone and my bike, and I'd be like, yeah, you can have this tent, and I'm leaving. I'd never come back to it. Like, ever. Like, it's big enough to where I wouldn't even fuck with it. I'd just move, like, period. But that's probably the only thing that scares me. I love heights. I think better when I'm up on heights. I love adrenaline. I've always loved adrenaline. I kind of get, I don't know. I mean, I kind of am scared of, I guess it would be like the angel of death per se. Like, you ever been driving down the road and you swerve because you swore you saw like a shadow or something crossing the street, and then you look back and it wasn't there? And I just feel like that shadow, that ghost is following you. But it's weird because I don't really believe in ghosts. I believe in aliens because, I mean, you ever heard of string theory? There's 3 parts of string theory, which is open, closed, and straight. Which means that open is the universe started from the Big Bang, and it created the whole universe, and the universe is constantly expanding. And the closed is the universe started from the Big Bang, and when it exploded, it went to as big as it'll ever get, and it's constantly shrinking from there until it all gets one central point and it starts over. And then straight is from the Big Bang. This is as big as it's ever been, as big as it's ever going to be, as big as it'll ever get. And with that, either way, you're telling me if the Earth was even a 100 percentile of a difference in the atmosphere, it wouldn't be sustainable for life. And that just so happened to fucking be random out of choice. No, I believe in aliens, and I believe like all of the Bibles and religions and shit that happened, like Aztecs, like the Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians, like they all actually have a pattern. Like Christianity has the Holy Trinity, God the Father and the Holy Spirit. Or I mean the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Then you look at Greeks, they got Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. Then you look at the fucking Romans, they got Pluto, they got Jupiter, they got Neptune. You look at Egyptians, they got Ra, they got Set, they got Horus. And the weird thing is, I believe that they all happened, but not to the degree we believe. I believe that they happened, but the degree that they came is the human race was then and is still now so unintelligent and stuff like that, to where if you've ever seen Star Wars, and you're telling me if that was a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and they have technology like that that can cloak ships, well, why can't they cloak or fucking turn themselves into something else and walk among us like we don't even know they exist? Or they might look just like us. And at the end of the day, like, I believe that these beings, these gods really existed, all of them, but they were aliens. Like, for example, most people know as pterodactyls. Pterodactyls is actually the breed. The species itself is known as Pero, P-E-R-O. And the reason I bring that up is because scientists lately have been thinking that a lot of the dinosaurs might have not been reptilian, they might have actually been feathered, some of them. So if that's the case, Quetzalcoatl is the Aztec deity that was known as a large, giant feathered serpent with wings. Well, out of pterodactyls, the largest of all the breeds of pterodactyls was actually called Quetzalcoatl, which would have at the time being possibly a giant snake with wings that possibly was feathered. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I really think that these beings existed. We just believed that they were gods because of the things they could do. And I believe there's a heaven or a hell, but I don't believe there's a God and a devil. There's something that created us, but I don't know what. And I don't know. I just look forward to finding out one day. If it is a God, I got a couple questions I really want to ask him.
Do you have any regrets in your life?
Regrets? Honestly and truly, no, because everything that's happened in my life, whether it been good or fucked up, like used to regret not finishing high school, but then I thought about it. If I would have finished high school, I would have never left South Carolina. I would have never been here. And at the end of the day, I believe I shouldn't have any regrets because everything I've done has led up to who I've become to this day. You know, I personally believe I've become a lot better of a man than what I was 4 years ago, and I'm grateful for every experience that I've been through for that. I'm grateful for every ass whooping that's taught me a lesson. I'm grateful for everything. My only regret is that I haven't bought a violin by now, because since I got robbed for the first one, I've been wanting another one ever since, and I just miss my music. That's about it. But I try not to have regrets. It's better that way.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Most important lesson I've learned in my life. I've learned a lot of lessons, and I've learned them in a lot of different ways. I'd probably say, like, some of the most important ones is, like I said, never give up, never accept defeat, never quit, you know, never back down. At the same time, I would also say, like, know what you're getting yourself into no matter what. You know, like, prepare. I'd say the best lesson would probably be prepare for the worst, hope for the best. No matter what happens, you're ready. You know, and I used to know that when I was going to work as a hood cleaner. We'd go into restaurants after hours and we'd clean the grease out of the hoods above the grills and shit. And, you know, with some of those, like, Asians, they would get to the point where, like, Asian restaurants, you're supposed to have them cleaned every 4 months. Well, these guys would have them wait like almost a year or two until the fire marshal was ready to shut them down if they didn't get it cleaned, and then we'd have to go in there and it would take all fucking night. And, you know, like, pretty much it's just one of the things, like, you just got to watch your surroundings and know who you're around, and one thing I've learned in LA, probably the most important lesson I've learned in LA, is that anytime you meet somebody, you have a split second to decipher between friend or foe immediately. Like, you don't have time to get to know them. You don't have time to say, hey, how are you? It's literally that, hi, I'm blah, 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 blah. And from that moment, from the moment you open your mouth and they open your mouth, you have to be able to decide friend or foe, because it could be your life right there. In LA, somebody could rob you, kill you right then and there. Or they could be your best friend and bless you with millions of dollars. But you have to be able to discern the difference between the two. And that's probably like the best lesson I've learned in a long time. I'm still learning. It's hard to learn people, but knowing who you're around and trying to see people's true self and true personality is probably the most important part. And I'd say that's probably one of the most important lessons I've learned, along with never quitting. Because as long as you never quit, in the South, we got a saying, a man with a truck can always make money. We say that because if you got a truck, there's always a way to make money. Somebody might have you haul off their trash. Somebody might need you to haul this, tow this, do that. But either way, like, you always have to have yourself open and having a way to make money no matter what your situation is. And just my most important lessons are never quit, always be prepared to make money, and always know friend from foe, and be able to tell the difference really quick, because your life might depend on it.
All right. Kay, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, man.
I wish you the best of luck out there.
Same to you. Thank you so much for taking my time.
Thank you.